Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark for the 25th of March, 2020. Today is an interesting day because in about 90 minutes from right now, being that I'm on the West Coast, when it hits the strike of 12:01 a.m., I turn 38 years old. That's right, folks. 38, the big late 30s. Nothing, of course, important happens. I have no plans. But it's kind of weird to think that I'm there. The last year has been a wild ride. It's been a crazy ride. A lot's happened. I had a kid. I got to go to LA to see Star Wars early. I went to Galaxy's Edge. I went to Comic-Con, VidCon. I've done a little bit of traveling, had a lot of fun, made an absolute crapload of terrible YouTube content. But here I am, alive and well and kicking. And here, the Bud Light virus epidemic, the global pandemic, the place that might kill us all, and I'm still standing. And of course, you're here listening, which means that you are cool. Anyway, no, really, it is my birthday tomorrow, so I am looking forward to spending it with my kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully sit down and finally watch Onward. That's my goal. And then also to do like as little work as humanly possible, although I don't think that's going to happen because I'm utterly addicted to what I do. Today, though, I didn't put out any content because there wasn't really much to talk about. And I've been looking. I think there's a couple things here and there, like there was that new Solar Opposites trailer that popped up. Do you guys hear about that one, right? The Solar Opposites, the new Justin Roiland Hulu show that's coming April 8th. All episodes available April 8th. And here's the problem with that. It comes across like Rick and Morty. And I like Rick and Morty, but it just feels like Rick and Morty. It doesn't feel like anything new, anything significant, anything crazy. It just feels like the same thing Justin Roiland's been doing for the longest time. And that does lead me to believe that as talented as he is, he also has a glass ceiling that he has yet to crack. He's got this end point where he just kind of, this peak, this plateau where he just sits. And I wonder if he's so popular of a creator. I really do. I wonder if he's so popular of a creator that he just ultimately gets away with all this because no one calls him on it. No one questions him on it. No one pushes him to be better. I wonder if Dan Harmon just kind of placates him over there. I know they're working on like 70 episodes of Rick and Morty, ultimately filling out 10 seasons worth, or something like 7 seasons worth or something like that. They're doing a lot of content over there, and this is something new that he's doing, but it just looks more of the same. It just looks absolutely positively more of the same. And I'll watch it because I have Hulu, so I might as well. And I don't think there's going to be many more episodes of Bob's Burgers. That's new. Although I just watched the newest episode today, and I have to say, I love that show. I don't think I've seen a bad episode of Bob's Burgers. Like for 10 seasons, my girlfriend and I have been watching that show, and we look forward to it every single week. So it's one that can keep going on until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm really looking forward to the movie that was supposed to come out this summer. However, I do think that is going to be moved, unfortunately, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Bob's Burgers, the film, ends up going to Disney Plus or going to Hulu, something like that. Anyway, take a look here at the comments. Dennis Pingle, hello, my friend. Hello, how are you? Star Wars Rogue podcast coming on in saying hello there. Hello there to you as well, sir. Dennis, happy birthday. Hope it's good. Thank you very much, man. Happy birthday, sir. I had no idea. Well, we got us Aries got to stick together, right? I don't know anything of that astrology stuff, but there we go. Ryan here says happy birthday. AJ says happy birthday. JLS Comics says hello. All right. Ryan here says Bob's Burgers is so awkwardly wholesome. Dennis here says my wife loves Bob's Burgers. Oh yeah, dude. I love Bob's Burgers. I went to the panel in 2010 at Comic-Con for Bob's Burgers. Didn't know what it was. The reason why I went to the panel was that H. John Benjamin was going to be there. And Archer had just had its first season in 2010. And so I'm a big Archer fan, at least the first couple seasons. Recently, hasn't really wowed me like it used to. But I go to this panel because I want to see H. John Benjamin because in my mind, that dude could read me the phone book. And I think it would probably be like the funniest thing ever. And they showed us the first 11 minutes of the first episode. And I was immediately like, oh, this is going to be great. But it didn't premiere until January 2011 is when it premiered. And so I've been watching it ever since then. I've been a big fan of the show. I might start a rewatch of it, go back and watch some of the more classic episodes. And it's not to say that Bob's Burgers has like iconic episodes like The Simpsons. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Like you probably could think of a couple that are good, a couple that stand out above others, but there's nothing that's like as iconic as The Simpsons. And I think that's part of its charm, part of its appeal, if I'm being honest with you. And I say that because the dynamic has obviously shifted where it's, Bob's Burgers, but it's really about Tina, Eugene, or Gene and Louise. It's more about the kids, and I actually really find that to be the better choice to focus them on their journeys. But then Linda has had her moments to shine. Bob has had his moments to shine. Teddy is just a funny character. All the Jimmy Pesto, Jimmy Pesto Jr. All the other characters. Zeke, I love Zeke. All the characters that populate this little Eastern Seaboard town. And it's just the zaniness of it has maintained itself. But yes, it is awkwardly wholesome to the point of where it's just hysterical to watch what they get into next week. Even though they don't have those kind of iconic, groundbreaking, legendary episodes, you know what you're in for. And what you're in for is almost like comfort and hilarity and just like the little things that they say, the quirks the characters have. And I think it just works out really, really, really well. Let's see here. Did I see that The Office just turned 15? I did. I feel old now. I'm considering that I was 23 when that show came out. Happy birthday. Thank you very much, Safety Zoom. Appreciate that, man. And Human Quaker says, I wanted to see Bob's Burgers movie badly. It's safe like Simpsons. Disney will get behind Disney Plus. I agree. Star Wars Rogue Podcast says here, I've never given it a chance. What's the best episode from Newbies? Start at the beginning. Really. Just start at the beginning and then just watch. Because the thing is like there's no, you could really just kind of like randomize an episode. There's not many that carry over. There's not a lot of two-parters. I would say if you're looking for one that maybe stands out, I forget if it's season 2 or season 3, but I think it's the premiere episode, and it's kind of like it's a riff on Goonies, and it's with the kids going on an adventure around the wharf, and it's really funny. It's really well done, and again, the whole show is fantastic. My daughter loves it. My whole family loves it. I don't know anyone out there who's watched Bob's Burgers that doesn't just fundamentally love that show. So I'm really glad that it's still around there. Archer does the Arby's previews. Oh, nice. Bob's Burgers has a 2-part musical finale. Okay, well they've done. Yeah, okay, there we go. So they've done 2-parters. It's been 10 seasons. I forget some stuff. Some of the great quotes here. Your ass is grass and I'm going to mow it. Tina Belcher. That's a great one. Let's see. I get the feeling that with Futurama, no iconic episodes, but there are hilarious moments. Well, no, there are iconic Futurama episodes. I think that is woefully disingenuous to say. And I say that like this. Jurassic Bark, for example, holy crap, that episode will make you cry. Luck of the Fryish, again, another iconic episode that will make you cry. There are a ton of iconic Futurama episodes, but then again, it might also appeal to a different age group. Like I want to say 17 when Futurama came on the scene, and I would love for them to go back and make more Futurama. Like I know it went to Comedy Central. They did a couple seasons there. They did the 4 movies, which ultimately turned into a whole other season, but those 4 movies are pretty good. So, but there's a lot of really funny moments too. But really what it is that show, when it hits you emotionally, it will gut punch you emotionally. Like the 2 episodes I just mentioned. The Luck of the Fryish will make me cry. Jurassic Bark will make me cry. There's no way around it. You just can't watch those episodes and not be just brought to emotional distress by the end, because you're like, oh my God, because you care for Fry. You care for Fry's journey, what he's been through, what he's lost, what he's gained. And when he goes back to those moments, when he gets that little bit of something that connects him to his past, it's always done in a way where it makes him remember, or it makes him realize that he wasn't as forgotten as he thought he was. You know what I mean? Because that was the whole premise of him going into the future, was like, everyone I've ever known or ever loved is dead. Woohoo! you know? And it's like because he thought everyone hated him. But then you find out through these episodes that no, they mourned him. They missed Philip J. Fry. And that is something that I think any person will just ultimately love to watch, right? They'll love to watch these episodes because they can have that emotional connection. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be loved, right? I mean, I'm an avowed narcissist. I do YouTube. I have to be. There's 32 of you here watching. Shower me with love, you dirty heathens, because that's what fills the hole left in my heart. Anyway, how do I feel about Ahsoka and Mando season 2? Dude, I am on board with that. I think Rosario Dawson is going to be great. I am looking forward to seeing what comes out of that one. I was reading an interview today with Giancarlo Esposito, and he let it slip that he broke 3 prop darksabers while shooting season 2. And he had also said that there was going to be a lot of lightsaber battles in season 2. And so now we're catching wind that Ahsoka was cast. And if Ahsoka is cast, what does that mean? She's got her white sabers. So Ahsoka versus Moff Gideon, maybe? Right? Like, what's going to happen with that? I want to know, is Paz Vizsla, from episode 3, This Is the Way, that was Pre-Vizsla's son. Pre-Vizsla was the former leader of Death Watch, who at one point did wield the Darksaber before, he got cocky and got, right? But like, is his son going to play a bigger part in season 2? I think he is, because Jon Favreau voiced the character as he did voice Pre-Vizsla in the Clone Wars animated show. That's the whole thing. I am so on board with this. I think the Mandalorian storyline in Clone Wars is probably my favorite. I want to see how they bring in Death Watch. I mean, when they showed the Mando armor in the season finale of Mando, and they showed like the person in the armor, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then like as the sun starts to as it comes into focus, we can start seeing that it's a blue armor, and I'm like, wait a minute. No. Wait, no. What? No. And then the Mando picks up baby Mando, right? And you see the Death Watch symbol, and I'm like, no. And then at the end, when the Darksaber shows up, I'm like, you motherfucker. No. Like, I'm very excited for what's going to come next, right? I think that's just some of the better elements of the Clone Wars as a whole, to get that type of story where it's going to tie into things like this. And I think it's just going to really open up the Star Wars universe and also act as a vehicle for elements of the Clone Wars to come on in. What I would love for them to do, here's a question for y'all out there, right? Here's a question for you guys. If you've watched the Clone Wars, Rex is is a great character. I love me Rex. Always have. And he pops up again in Rebels. And we find out that the old dude, this was confirmed, but I mean, clearly it's not something they're doing for fans, but on the Battle of Endor, there is one rebellion soldier who is an old dude with a big ass bushy white beard. And someone was like, is that Rex? And I think it was like Filoni or someone at Lucasfilm was like, yes. Right. And they're like, yes, that's Rex. So we know Rex survived up until the Battle of Endor. So if it's 5 years past, he's going to be much older, but we could also see an older actor come on in. What if they actually got Tamara Morrison at this point, put a little bit of a beard on him, put some gray hair, shaved his head, put the big bushy beard on him, and he's hanging out with Sabine and Ahsoka, cruising around and shit for season 2 of Mando. Fans would lose their mind. I would lose my mind if they brought back Tamara Morrison to reprise the role of everyone's favorite clone trooper from the animated series. I would be very happy with that. I'd be so happy with that. And I think something like that could potentially happen. And if I should also start maybe a fan petition to try to get Dave Filoni to do that. Let's see. Let me look up here in the comments. I'm a little bit further back. Okay. All right. Dennis here says, I've missed the last couple episodes of your shows. I'm so depressed about the movies you're missing out on. Yeah, man, I know. For me, it's I'm trying to become more consistent with this. I need to do it earlier in the day. Unfortunately, tonight, I do Uber Eats deliveries as a way to provide not only an essential service for my local community in this time of need. It also does help pay the bills now more than ever, because YouTube advertisements are gone. There's like nothing. I mean, it's plummeted because of everything, right? So it's like I went from making enough to kind of get by to like, holy crap, it went down to like, I'm not kidding you, yesterday on this channel I made about $6, And normally it's about 4 times that, and that's on a slow day, right? Like, so it's whatever. So it's not a lot of money, but it's plummeted, it's tanked. So that's unfortunate. I have to go and do these deliveries, which I don't mind doing. The money's okay. Helps out right now. And so what I want to do is I want to do a show like this consistently, talk to you guys, geek out with you guys. We'll be doing the live phone calls here in a little bit as well. I'll be dropping the link. You guys can come on in. We'll chat for a few. And that's what I want to do. I think in this time, right, I keep thinking like don't get me wrong. Like, I will be honest, I am frustrated and I'm angry about where things are right now. And I don't have a lot of faith and trust in the administration. I don't. I really don't. And I've been voicing my opinion on my other channel, which has been kind of funny. People aren't too happy about that. But I've been frustrated and I'm just voicing my opinion on some stuff over there. But I still want to be in a good mood. I want to be fun. I want to be happy. I want to be doing this with you guys. And you guys are great. You guys are awesome. We get to geek out, we get to talk, we get to laugh. And that is what I think is going to be fantastic. So I got to find a way to do it at an earlier time. Unfortunately, it just requires having the finances in place. I don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm glad that you're here. The title is debatable. It's not debatable. There are no bad MCU movies, 100%. Okay, so not to sidetrack, but where is that water behind you in that Avatar picture? That is actually the Hoover Dam in Arizona, Nevada. I was there. This is from like 4 years ago. I just like this photo because I think I look like I was actually that was a good month for me. A month before that, I was on an Alaskan cruise for a week. Then I flew down to San Diego for Comic-Con, and then after that, I met my girlfriend in Las Vegas, where we spent a few days at the Luxor. And that was before we bought a house, before she got pregnant. So that was kind of our last hurrah, as like being like this kind of fun jet setting couple sort of thing. And so let's see if I can actually find that photo I took. If I can find it, I'll post it real quick because I have this really awesome panorama shot that I took at that. I know it's on Facebook. I just want to find like the better imagery. I just don't know where it might be. I'll just go check my Facebook page. So there's that. All right, let me look it up real quick. And Lewis is messaging me? I don't know. All right. Okay, hold on. Let me find it here. I'll just, okay. Speaking of feels, holy hell, Final Space is marvelous. Yeah, I've seen most of season one. And I really liked it. Olin Rogers, the creator of that show, randomly followed me on Twitter. I've never interacted with him, but he randomly followed me. I was like, that's pretty cool, man. He seems like a pretty chill guy. I follow a lot of his stuff. Oh, there's a photo of me from Comic-Con 2017 where, holy crap, I was a lot fatter. Still fat, just less fat than I was then. Okay, let me keep looking. Oh, well, there's some photos. Son of a bitch. I know I posted it on Facebook. Well, damn it. Because, I found a photo of my girlfriend and I when we were there, but it's not, am I looking at... Oh, I'm looking at photos of me. My bad. My bad. Let me just go back and find this thing here. So I think you guys are gonna get a kick out of this. I like this image. Okay. I like panorama photography, right? I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'm really, really big on panorama photography. So if I can get a good shot, I feel like I'm accomplished as a photographer, and I'm generally a pretty terrible photographer. So I just like that. Okay, there's photos of my daughter being born. Oh, she's so cute. Okay, I'll keep looking. Photos of when we moved into our house. Wow. There's a photo of, holy shit. Anyone here ever remember the original Mara Jade actress? Right? Anyone ever remember her? The model? Check this out. You're going to laugh at this. This is me at 19 years old, my very first Comic-Con, and meeting Mara Jade for the first time. Right? Check this out. You guys are going to laugh your ass off because this is so terrible. But that's me at 19. No, sorry, me at 18. I just graduated high school. I was, yeah. No need to sit there and mock the weight. I know I'm fat, but that was my very first Comic-Con. And that is some old Old school crap right there. That is some old school crap. I believe I've aged a little bit better. You know, I think I've aged a little bit better and whatnot. I think I look a little bit better. So there's that. Okay. Do I not have it on? There we go. No, that's not the full size. Well, I don't have the full size. I got to go look for it. Okay. Anyway, I won't be able to find the full size. Not right now, but I'll find it eventually. Okay. So yeah, that was that, and then this is the image I took. This isn't the whole image. This is a cropped pano. I got a lot more to the right, but this is just what I took while I was there at the Hoover Dam. And I mean, I really like it. If I could, I'll try to find it and I'll show you guys at another time. But yeah, that was 2016. It was pretty cool. Anyway, okay. Wow, you look so different. Yeah, I know. I do. I look a lot different from when I was 18 to now. Yeah, it's I just started growing the beard or the goatee. And we had gone through a move a few months. I mean, I've always been a big guy, but like we'd gone through a move and I was just like depressed. So I gained a lot of weight in a few months. And so, yeah, that's an old photo. I look way different. So here, okay. Let's see. Throw up that Solar Opposites trailer. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Let me see. I'll see if I can find it here. Okay. I just didn't care for it. I mean, maybe that's just me. You know, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'll give it a watch because I'm not a monster. Okay. Let's Chrome tab. Share audio. All right. Nope. Full screen that shit. And all right, we are good.
Oh my god, we don't have noses!
This May, from Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty.
We're from outer space! You're the one who chose to land
My
here!
scans didn't indicate it was a human-infested crap hole without a single redeeming value, Terry.
Comes a series about a family trying to fit in on a strange new world.
Wait! We can't park here! There's street cleaning tomorrow!
Man caves,
What's Diggle Bix?
I don't know, some sort of human code.
recreational drugs,
By the way, I got some heroin. You guys want to do heroin?
bullying,
Go back to Uranus.
animal rights, zombie teenagers, magicians, black holes, gooblers, and the pupa.
Look at the pupa. I told you to stop giving the pupa candy. He can't eat candy. It gets him sick.
Oh, that's sick.
Solar Opposites.
Now let's get out of here before we get arrested for all this shit.
All episodes May 8th on Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay. You know, like, all right. I mean, that's a thing. It just looks like, you know, it looks, I'm not going to say that it's terrible, but it's just nothing really about it elicited a laugh out of me. And I can laugh at a lot of things, right? I'm a portly fat dude from Canada. Well, family's from Canada. You know, we can laugh at a lot, but I didn't find it really funny. Okay, hold on. Whoa. Listen. There has been a bad Marvel TV show. It's called Inhumans, but we have reasons why it's bad. Okay, so that doesn't count. So no equals MCU. No. Okay. Ben here says, I didn't laugh once. Yeah, I mean, you didn't hear me chuckle, did you? It's definitely Justin Roiland unfiltered. Yeah, that is. It's like it's the popularity Rick and Morty got him a show, but it just feels like Rick and Morty, doesn't it? It just feels like Rick and Morty, but in like another universe. Oh no, it's aliens come to Earth. Oh no, they do weird alien things. Oh no, they have to. That's about it. Let's see here. Iron Fist is bad. Iron Fist is not bad, actually. You are wrong on that one. I will say that the back half of Luke Cage season 1 was not very good. Once Mahershala Ali took off, the show took a dump. But I will say that Bushman in season 2 was an epic villain. I loved him in season 2 of Luke Cage. Do I think Bo-Katan will make an appearance in Mando season 2? Well, awesome. That all depends on whether or not Bo-Katan. Oh no, wait, no, she's in Rebels. So yeah, maybe, right? I mean, anything could happen. The thing is like Iger has said, like look for these other characters that are gonna be making appearances. So yeah, and I thought it was gonna be like OT people, right? Like bring us a young Wedge Antilles or something like that, or a Mon Mothma or something, and that could happen too. They're gonna open like something. They're gonna open it up, right? They're gonna open that era up. The post Return of the Jedi era, and they're going to give us a bunch of shows in that era. I guarantee it. Let's see. Who do I think will play the X-Men in the MCU? I have no idea. I don't know if Cad Bane is still alive at this point, but if they can get Cad Bane in the Mando, what if it's Cad Bane at the end of episode 5? Wouldn't that be cool? Because he has dealings with the Hutts, so he's been on Tatooine. If they brought us some Cad Bane, I would be very happy with that. So, Bo-Katan has to be. She's the last person with the dark. That's right. So at this point, Bo-Katan is probably dead. If Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, Bo-Katan is probably dead. My thoughts on Michael Biehn being in Mando. I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it. Like people got on Jon Favreau for bringing in like comedians to Mando, right? They're like, oh, Horatio Sands and Brian Poshner and who else was there? Amy Sedaris and Bill Burr. I was fine with all those. I was cool with all that stuff. The only dumb element that I found that I didn't like at all in Mando season 1 were the 2 idiots from episode 4, right? Like the 2 like stoner village guys. Like, hey man, like, you want to, like, come with us and, like, save our village from, like, these raiders, man? Oh, we're going to, like, totally, like, fight and, like, kill the leader. The dog guy. We know what we're doing. We're stoners. Like, that's how I took that scene. I didn't care for it too much. Let's see. Yeah, Ambassador says I'd be in for Cad Bane appearing. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Let's see. Dan Harmon brings the heart. Justin Roiland brings the cynical black humor. Subtract heart, and you get Roiland unloading his depressive nihilism on that. Okay, you know what, man? I am a fan of Community. I love that show. I do agree with you on that front. Roiland. I mean, go back and look at Channel 101 where Rick and Morty originated. Like that was some weird shit. Did you guys ever hear about Channel 101? It was a short film competition. I don't want to say it's a short TV pilot competition held once a month in LA. I think it's still going. Maybe not now with the Rona, but what it was is every month, people would submit a 5-minute television pilot, and if you won or you were one of the ones that were voted high enough by the audience, you would then be invited back to do episode 2, and you would keep doing episodes of this pilot of this TV show until you were voted off the island, so to speak. And so, ever hear of Chad Vader? That was a big YouTube thing back a long time ago. That was actually, that came out of Channel 101. And then you also had Rick and Morty, but back then it was The Adventures of Doc and Marty, right? And so, it was like, Marty, like I can't do the voice, but like, you got to suck my dick. You got to suck it. You got to suck my balls, Marty. You got to suck my balls. Like it was really dark and really twisted. And then that's what they pitched to Adult Swim, and they got Rick and Morty out of that. So yeah, it's a lot's come out of Channel 101, and not a lot of it's good, but there's a couple gems that pop through. Let's see here. Justin Roiland is basically Seth MacFarlane because Seth MacFarlane made Family Guy and his second American Dad. Well, okay, hold on. See, Seth MacFarlane is the kind of guy who is a writer, director, and talent. He can sing excellently. He has got excellent comedic talent and timing. He is funny. He's poignant, and he knows how to tell a good story. And that's the whole element. That's the whole thing that separates him and Justin Roiland. Roiland can bring that dark, cynical nihilism with him, and that works out well if you can contrast it with a good storytelling partner. McFarlane can bring it all himself, and I will say that his work on the Orville, by having him and Brandon Braga develop this show with the ideals of like what would come after the next generation, is one of the reasons why it's so beloved, because it does live up to the ideals previously set forth. And it's something that it's their love letter to Star Trek. And many people would argue that the Orville is better than New Trek. I happen to actually enjoy both, but that's because I'm an easily, pleased person. So we have that. Let's see. My wife is bitching about PETA because they are going off with a new Animal Crossing. Really? Really? PETA? Fuck PETA. I did hear Scoob got delayed indefinitely. Not exactly a big thing there. All right. So what exactly is the lore behind the Darksaber? Can a Jedi use them? Well, here's the thing with Darksaber. The Darksaber was the lightsaber that was crafted by the first and only Mandalorian Jedi. And I don't know a lot of the lore about who that person is, but that is where the Darksaber originated. And it's kind of like whoever controls the Darksaber kind of like controls Mandalore, I think is what they're kind of alluding to. So there's that. Let's see. Unpopular opinion. Rey Palpatine is the best protagonist in Star Wars because she is one of the best character arcs. Interesting. Not necessarily what I would agree with, but okay. And I like Rey as a character. I do. I like Rey as a character. I have no problem with her. And the Palpatine thing, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. I've come to, I've never hated it, but I've come to peace with it. So, let's see here. If I could play anyone in the MCU, who would it be? Oh man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I really wish I did. I just don't. Let's see. Scoob looks terrible. It did. It really did. It really looked bad. And I know they got Frank Welker, the original, like the voice, right? Like the voice, has been doing it for years, and that is cool, but you can tell he's older now, and it just doesn't sound very good. It sounds like, Scoob's got a 2-pack a day habit since he was a young pup. And I do also kind of wonder if Scrappy is going to be the villain. Let's be fair. The 2003 Scooby-Doo movie was remarkably good for what they did. It was remarkably good. Do I watch Cartoon Network show, regular show? I don't, actually. I really don't. Let's see. Why do I like Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker? Okay. So it's better than The Last Jedi. I think that's the key important aspect here. It's maybe not better made than The Last Jedi, but it does what it does in order to tell a narrative story, and it does what it does in order to fix problems. I like that Kylo Ren had a redemption arc. I didn't think I ever would like that, but I did. I think Adam Driver is an excellent actor, and I thought he brought a lot to the character, and I would have liked to have seen more Ben Solo. I loved the end of that movie when him and Rey, wielded the lightsabers. I was like, yeah. Or like when he's taking on the Knights. I would have liked to have seen more with the Knights, getting more info out of them. I do think J.J. Abrams was backed into a corner. I do. I think he was backed into a corner, and he did the best that he could. So I like it for that reason, that he tried to tell 2 movies into one. And there was some, the first act of the movie is definitely hard to watch because it's really, really hastily edited together. But as it moves on and as it gets going, it starts to find its pacing and to find its footing. And by the end, I don't feel like I'm not seeing something good here. I feel like I'm seeing the finale to something as good as it could have been. And I've come to peace with that. Now, am I going to rewatch it multiple times? Probably not. I mean, I love The Force Awakens, and I would have loved to have seen that storyline continue. I have no real desire to watch The Last Jedi again. And The Rise of Skywalker is one that I might pop in if I just want to do Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. But for me, where I find the most love right now for Star Wars is straight up Mandalorian. I've been rewatching season 1 again. Not very hard to do. The episodes are short, but also the Clone Wars is fantastic and I love it. So as a Star Wars fan, looking at where we are in regards to TV is good. The High Republic seems really interesting. I want to see more about that come August. And I think we're in a good space as a result. But we had to get through The Rise of Skywalker, so I appreciate what Abrams was able to do, even if it wasn't the best thing on the planet. If I found out that Scott Buck took over The Mandalorian, no, I would not watch it. I wouldn't. No. Mm-mm. If they get I would actively protest, right? Like I would actively protest. I'm not a religious person, but I would pray to whatever deity I could that set just get destroyed, that the hard drives get erased, that the stagecraft gets deleted and gets completely made unoperationable, and Scott Buck is left crying. And that's what I want. That's what I want. All right. How do you go from the most epic season of Dexter in season 4 to whatever the hell it was we got for the rest of the show? And I still found some enjoyment in the last couple seasons of Dexter, but you can't top season 4. And Scott Buck came in and was all like, I can destroy it. He's like the Wreck-It Ralph of TV producers, 100%. Thank you very much for the East Coast happy birthday love. Appreciate that. Let's see here. You wanted to see a Hong Kong Phooey Eddie Murphy movie? Let's see here. Original Avengers was bad when it gets to the corny invasion scene. Characters brought nothing to resolve the problem, but relied on coincidences. No, when it got to the invasion scene, that's when they got to pull out their powers. That's when they got to start being the heroes. Like that's when they got the team up aspects, right? You're wrong, but I appreciate your opinion. Do I want a Frozen live action movie? God, no. Hell no. Man. No. I can't even I tried watching, I was watching part of Frozen 2 the other day and I was like, what am I watching? That's why I tweeted out that Disney needs to bring back John Lasseter, right? Because ever since Lasseter left, you can tell there's a quality loss. I'm sorry, Jennifer Lee is not going to be able to be the new Lasseter. And who's the other one? Is it Andrew Stanton is now the other guy in charge? They need Lasseter. Thank you very much for the birthday wish. Appreciate that. Look what they did to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was fine. It was fine. At the end of it, it may not be everything you wanted, but it told the story. It wrapped it up. It was done. The problem, I've gotten so much crap for saying this, but I will stand by it. I blame George R. Martin for not finishing The Winds of Winter and then the other final book, because the story that they told in the show is the story ultimately that George R. Martin explained to them that was going to be the final 2 books of the show or the series. And that's on him. That is entirely on him. He dropped the ball and these guys didn't, they tried picking it up and they didn't have the excellent source material to pull from. And so, they did what they could. And I still think that The Bells is a fantastic episode. Daenerys's tonal shift makes absolute sense if you watch the show. I think Emilia Clarke wasn't a big fan because she was kind of throughout the show, pushed as being a bit of a hero. And in the end of it, she succumbed to the same aspect that a lot of people in Game of Thrones succumb to, which is the quest for power and how it does destroy. So there's a lot of that. All right. It's Matt's birthday party. Well, technically it's not, it's the 26th. So we have like an hour to go. Toy Story 4 was not needed. That is a lie. That is a lie. I actually just watched Toy Story 4 again today. The Frozen was already, live actioned on. Yeah, it's right. They did do that. It was pretty bad. Okay, so Skywalker Briner says Jennifer Lee's the head of Walt Disney Animation. Pete Docter's the head of Pixar. Lasseter went to Skydance. I know why he left. What I'm saying is both Pete Docter. Look, I trust Pete Docter. Okay, I do. I think Pixar's in fine hands. But when it comes to Walt Disney Animation, Lasseter reinvented that. He took it back to where we know it's great. And now Jennifer Lee doesn't have the chops to do it. She just doesn't have the chops to do it. Let's see here. But Lasseter sometimes hugged people for a prolonged period of time, so he should clearly never be allowed to work for. Well, he did admit to that, and that is not good. That is not good. But hey, but we're in the age of social distancing now. He can't hug anybody, right? He can't hug anybody. So all the employees are safe. So there we go. My horrible joke of the night, folks. Have I watched the anime film Your Name? I haven't, but I've heard of it. I've heard it's really good. Juan here says, I went into The Rise of Skywalker with low expectations. At the end, it was better than I'd heard. Also, how the hell did it not get spoiled for half the movie? You saw it for the first time yesterday. Wow, yeah, that's insane. I don't know how you didn't get it spoiled. Congrats. If you could fight either Harvey Weinstein or Ryan Johnson to the death, who would it be? And would you use a trident or a mace? I think Harvey Weinstein would require a mace because he's a more blubberous person, and you'd have to like really kind of like whack it to get in there to crack that nut. Whereas Ryan Johnson comes across like a shifty little snake. His head's always kind of bobbing up. So you have to have a trident to try to pin him down. That's my take on that one. Let's see here. Do I think Doctor Strange 2 makes its May release next year? I don't know, man. It all depends on whether or not Eternals comes out. What are my thoughts on Brie Larson holding Marvel Studios over a barrel? My thoughts on that are, where's the evidence of that? There's no evidence of that. It's a rumor. It's a rumor. There's a rumor on that. That's all it is. It's a rumor. We don't know where, we don't know if Brie Larson is holding Marvel over a barrel. You know, I mean, I know she did an ad on Instagram for Animal Crossing, and it really tweaked the short and curlies from a couple people out there that were just so amazingly butthurt that Brie Larson was a fan of Animal Crossing. Who cares? Or she was in a commercial for was it a Nissan? I don't fucking care, dude. Like, people need to back off Brie Larson because honestly, at this point, it's like it's obsession. It's obsession. And it's moved past the we just do this for money. Now they're actively looking for things to crap on Brie Larson over, which is pretty sad. Let's see the new Mafia hug. There's a hug you can't confuse. He cannot refuse exactly. You're excited Tobey Maguire is returning as Spider-Man, Peter Parker in the MCU. He's not though. Nothing confirmed. Speculation and fun theories, but there's no confirmation. Do I think Black Widow and Eternals will be released this year? Yeah. If it hits like June and we don't have a release date for Black Widow, then I think it's going to take over for Eternals in November, and then Eternals will be pushed to next year. Let's see here. You work for the Disney, so you can make Marvel animation movies. Cool. What do you do for the Disney? Like, I'm just kind of curious. How do I feel about the creator of Regular Show and his new show, Close Enough as Max original? I don't watch the show, so I'll have to check it out on HBO Max when his new show. I don't know much about the guy, J.G. Quintel. I don't know anything about him, so I can't say that I'm excited. Sorry. All right, thank you very much for coming in, AJ. Have yourself a good night. Why do I hate geeks and gamers? They have some pretty good points most of the time, to be fair. They don't really, though. They don't have good points. They really don't make a lot of good points because the points that they do make are just recycled points that they've said before. And after a while, the points you make on that front just becomes vapid and unoriginal. And also, they have no knowledge. Jeremy has no knowledge of how Hollywood actually works, of how the system actually works. And so when you've got this shutdown right now that's impacting 120,000 people who are not blue check marks on Twitter or actors in movies, not all of them at least. And these are people that have lost their jobs. They've lost their funding. They've lost their livelihood. And people like Jeremy and people like the Quartering, also named Jeremy, mock them. They mock these studios having to shut down projects because of the coronavirus. They mock them. These are people that have families to feed. These are people who just show up every day, do their job, have no say on creative input, and they go home. These are people who work in the entertainment industry that keep the cogs moving, the wheels moving, right? So people can enjoy the content or not enjoy the content. But either way, the content gets out there. People like Jeremy mocking those who are losing their jobs is disgusting to me. Because I have lived and worked in LA. I have friends who currently live and work in LA who are impacted by this. People who had jobs lined up that are no longer working because those jobs have now fallen through and they're not getting paid. People who have families to feed, who have bills to pay, who have debts to pay off. People who are relying on certain things, certain works that have now been called into question, put into jeopardy because of this virus. Why would you mock the suffering of someone who's done nothing to you? The thing is, he doesn't care. He doesn't care because he literally sits in Pensacola, Florida in a pool house in front of a $75 webcam because he likes to bring that up all the goddamn time and go, well, like, I'm just a good old country boy. I don't know nothing. I'm just here telling you my opinion, my salt of the earth opinion about how the system works. That's 2,000 miles away in a whole other world of which he literally knows dick and all about. I don't hate Jeremy. I fucking pity him because he's a moron. He's a moron. And that's what he is. That's what he is. And he speaks to other morons who then push more further moronic agendas because they love to be moronic together. And then he understands that he can then control the morons and make money off the morons by lying to the morons because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And that's the way I see it. That's my take on that. I'm not a fan of the work that they put out there because I don't view it as work. I don't view it as being informed, knowledgeable. It's definitely opinionated, but hey, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. I'd rather listen to someone who has a solid fundamental understanding of how the system works, and at least looks at it from as even keeled as humanly possible to at least, to get an idea for how things are. But if you like to go and be fundamentally lied to, right, by all means, continue to watch their content because that's what you get. When you go to someone like Doomcock, and Doomcock sits there and he's all like, oh, I was told by an internal source at Lucasfilm that there were test screenings for the Rise of Skywalker. And you're like, no, there wasn't, dude. And everyone's like, no, Doomcock called it. Doomcock didn't call it. He called that. He was wrong. He reported on Reddit leaks, and then somehow people associated him with being the leaker of that for some reason. And he just makes up other shit. Or he's told other shit that's not real. He keeps people dumb because it makes him money. And that's not what I'm about. That's not what I'm about. And I say this in front of the 53 people here right now, and you can quote me, I don't care. The fandom menace as a collective literally makes you stupider because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. They found a grift. They all play up each other and they all lie to you. That's my complaint. And yet and when I criticize one of them, she threatens to sue me because I said she didn't watch a movie she was criticizing. And then she admitted that she didn't do it, but still had threatened to sue me and file a restraining order against me. That is the mindset of those people. That's why I laugh at them. Because every time you back them into a corner on any topic, it's always, well, I get more views than you. Or I just do this because it's not real life. No. That's what they do. That's what they do. Anyway, let me see here. Do I like Nerdrotic? No, I don't like Nerdrotic. I don't like, and I've talked to someone who knows him, who's friends with him, and I'm friends with that person. And they told me, they're like, I don't watch his content anymore because all he does is peddle hatred. And that's it. I tuned into a Doomcock live stream the other day, and it was just like, they hate you because you are men. They don't want you enjoying Doctor Who because you are men. And it's like, do you actually believe this shit? Because you got 1,000 people fucking watching you right now. And a lot of them are acting in the comment section like they believe you when you say things like that. And that's what Jeremy does too. It's a lot of that ideological spin, right? Though the SJWs, they just hate you because they're women and you're not women, you're men. It's just, dude, you're othering them. And you're using this as a way to springboard bigotry, misogyny, and sexism. And that's a lot of what it is. That's a lot of what they do. They say it's in humor, but it's clearly not in humor. They believe this kind of shit. And then when the curtains are down, right, or when the camera's off and you get them talking and there's not a large audience there, their entire attitude changes, the whole thing changes, and it becomes this different type of thing because they know that they're acting. But the thing is, their audience doesn't know that they're acting. Their audience doesn't know that they're acting. Their audience believes that that is who they are because that is who they present themselves to be. So what they're doing is they're putting on a performance, which is at the core essence a lie, right? I mean, actors are not, Ben Affleck wasn't really Batman. He was a dude in a costume. He was pretending. And that's what they do. They pretend because they found a way to make a lot of money by pretending to crap all over everything, to find anything they can to hate on it. And that's what they know is a way for them to make money. I don't find that to be intellectually honest. I find that to be ultimately, vehemently disingenuous. And I don't watch their content as a result of that. And I point and laugh at them whenever they come up because they keep doing it. And the thing is, I'm thankful that more people are catching on and more people are calling them out because I would rather there be an informed opinion, which we don't really get, but it'd be nice. And this is, what is it? And the thing is, these guys, they don't watch much. They don't really watch a lot of movies. And you can tell that when they talk about movies and you bring up other older movies or something, they don't know what's going on. There's a lot of that happens too. It's pretty funny, actually. Anyway, let's move on to something else. All right. So I want those celebs to give in charity because they got millions of dollars to spend. Yeah, I agree. I think that the celebrities are going to make a big deal about this and maybe they should donate. Besides, it's a good tax write-off too, to be fair. There's benefits to donating to charity. You donate to charity, it's a tax write-off. Like for example, this is the thing with Nerdrotic, right? So when Peter Mayhew died, he did a fundraising stream and I donated $10. But the thing is, like, it wasn't a fundraising stream where there would be a direct link to go to Peter Mayhew's foundation. And so Nerdrotic was collecting that money directly. And then he was promising to then donate that money. Now, I'm sure he did it. I don't have any reason to believe he didn't, but I always found it to be really weird that he would collect the money and then he would donate that money on people's behalf. So if I wanted to then donate $10 to like the Peter Mayhew Foundation, I should be able to write that off as a tax write-off because I'm donating to a nonprofit. But because I donated to Gary directly, I actually cannot write off that $10 on my taxes. And then interestingly enough, and I still kind of want to know how it worked out for him in the long run. I just haven't asked him. If I ever meet him, I'll ask him. But he collected so much money on that live stream through super chats that YouTube would take their 30%. Now they would take 30% of that. Then the rest of that money would then be, given to his AdSense account. And he said that he would then cover the 30% that YouTube took himself, which is cool. But then I had to laugh as well because all that money gets tied to a Social Security. So all of that money that he's collecting for charity, he has to then subtract 25% of that donated amount for his own personal taxes to not be dinged on that as taxable income down the road. And I just found that to be very fascinating because being a YouTuber, you at the end of the year, or every April, you start really looking at taxes. So while I appreciate the stream of wanting to donate to the Peter Mayhew Foundation, his method of collecting the money I found to be quite fascinating because I never followed up on it. I just never did, but it's always kind of been there. Every time I think about him, that pops up in my head because I'm like, man, like he either covered all the costs himself, which then set him out of pocket by a fair amount, or he didn't. And we don't always really know, but again, I'm not going to sit there and say he's did anything wrong. I don't know, but I always found that to be kind of weird. Okay, so what's my favorite Clone Wars episode? Yours is Ahsoka leaving. That was good. I think my favorite one was season 1, the season finale, which is when the Senate gets taken hostage by Cad Bane, and it turns into an episode of Die Hard. I thought that was great. Let's see here. Do I hope that the New Warriors gets a movie? I don't think it's even going to go to print, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, you don't get why people hate on the celeb Imagine thing. Their intentions were good. Yeah, they were trying to like be fun, but it was a sponsored post. It was clearly a nonprofit. I forget the nonprofit. And they worked with Gal Gadot and they worked with her people and their people and everything else. And then they went and they did that. And as a result of that, You know, it's always, it comes across as like, I don't know. I think like Steve Martin playing the banjo was more, what's the word I want to use here? Good natured, I think. Right? It didn't feel like it was as forced. The Imagine thing felt like it was kind of forced. But that's also just marketing, you know, so we're used to it. But I do think their intentions were good, but it's also the optics of it. You know, if they would have gone out and like, if Gal would have sat out there and done it herself, you know, if she would have sang it herself, or done something where she, you know, it wasn't part of some kind of, you know, edited project. It wasn't some kind of nonprofit thing. I think it would have had a bit more of a better feel. Okay, let's see here. All right. What do I think about Richard Donner making Lethal Weapon 5? I mean, look, if it happens, it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it could potentially happen. Anything is possible. Let's see here. Here's the title for Lethal Weapon 5, Out of the Retirement Home. Yeah, pretty much. I don't get the hatred for the new Warriors. Marvel did what we wanted them to do. They created new characters instead of changing the old ones. I don't have I mean, it was more like I said in my video, I would read it. I'd give it a fair shake, and I will. What got me as weird was like the brother Snowflake in Safe Space, and like that embrace that they had where like he's like protecting her and she's like cuddled up in his arm, and you're like, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit Pornhub front page kind of weird. And so it's one of those things where you're like, I don't quite know. And then also the one guy's screen time, right? And he's all like, he can connect to the internet because he got exposed to experimental internet gas. And I'm like, I can buy a radioactive spider, but experimental internet gas. What in the hell is that? Hey, thanks for coming in. Have yourself a good night, dude. Thank you for the birthday wish. Let's see here. Have I seen The Art of Racing in the Rain? I have not. I don't know what that is. You would like to see Lethal Weapon 4 also. No, they did make Lethal Weapon 4. It came out in the summer of 1998. If I recall, it was actually Jet Li's first American film. Because he was the bad guy in that movie. But yeah, they did. Chris Rock is even in it. Came out in July 1998. I know because I was 16 years old and I was working at a movie theater when it came out. Let's see here. Experimental nano gas. I think it's nanos, but it's like but the thing was, they said experimental internet gas. Right? That was what he said. Experimental internet gas. That's kind of weird. Yeah, Jedi Wanderer says here, Jet Li was a villain. He did great. Love that movie. Great 4 films. Yeah. I mean, the best one is obviously the first one. 2 is also really good. 3 was a lot of fun. I liked the Rene Russo introduction as well as getting a little bit more Leo Getz. Or no, that was when they introduced Leo Getz. They introduced Leo Getz in number 2. And then number 4 was fun. You know, it was definitely a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So, all right. My voice is starting to go a little bit here, so why not? I'll just do this for a minute. If anyone wants to jump in, we'll just take like one comment or question each, and we go from there. Rush Hour trilogy or Bad Boys trilogy? Bad Boys trilogy. I like the Rush Hour movies. I do. The first one is great. I mean, the fact that it's it's 22 years old now almost is just such a weird thing to think about. But it was a good movie. I liked it quite a bit. Rush Hour 2 was really fun. And Rush Hour 3 was entertaining, albeit unnecessary. The first 2 were pretty good. So, let's see here. You totally recommend The Art of Racing in the Rain. It's a great movie about dog racing and cancer. Oh, okay. I didn't, I'll have to check that. Is it on streaming at all? Or is it any, I don't know. You gotta let me know. All right. What's going on, Anthony?
Hey,
how you doing, buddy? How you doing? What's on your mind?
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm just, it's getting close to midnight and I got to get to bed because I got to be up real early in the morning.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's not for 30 minutes, but it's almost there. I mean, if you're on the East Coast, it's already after midnight.
I know. Long time no see.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts tonight? What is it that you want to say?
I want to say that I got disappointed that Wonder Woman 1984 got delayed.
But only by 2 months. It's not so bad.
That's so bad. I'm still waiting for the Black Widow thing.
Yeah. That's probably going to be, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe end of July. But I think they're waiting to see how things are next month.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Black Widow.
I'm excited for Black Widow. Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a fun movie, even if it's unnecessary. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, well, there's been no word on that either.
But I heard they might be building a Ghostbusters cinematic universe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
They, I know Aykroyd has wanted it for quite some time. We have to wait and see how Afterlife does. But unlike 4 years ago when Ghostbusters 2016 came out, I'm actually excited for this one.
I'm excited. It could be the last time we could see the old GB.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're getting up there, Nears. That's 100% true.
Yeah. I would like to see a Slimer solo movie.
What would a Slimer solo movie even entail, Anthony?
I don't know, with Meat Bud, the chef, the ice cream singing lady, that'll be in the adaptation of the Slimer solo cartoon.
You know what? You should write that down and like send that to Dan Aykroyd and just see what happens.
I'm a big fan of the Slimer cartoon.
Okay. I don't think I ever saw that one. Is that that's the real Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, and it's been off to Slimer.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, hey, man, I got some other people that are waiting to get on in, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you very much,
Happy
Anthony.
birthday.
Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you again soon, okay?
No problem. Bye.
Bye. All right, Anthony's a good dude. He calls in all the time. All right, we got Jedi Wanderer. How's it going, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? Happy birthday, man.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like doing the call-ins. People can jump in. We'll keep it brief because there's other people that are in the backstage.
No problem. I do got one question. Not a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people talk on this, but I'm a big fan of what Anne Rice books and to movies did. Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned. I'm waiting to hear if there's ever going to be another one being done, like for Lestat. I hope one day.
I had heard like rumblings a long time ago about like a TV series. I think it sounds. I mean, they really dropped the ball on that, right? Like they
have Chronicles of the Vampire. I mean, I heard those were books back in the 90s when I was in high school, and that was a huge thing. Yeah,
the Anne Rice's The Vampire Chronicles dropped by Hulu. Is being shopped elsewhere, and this was hold on here. Varieties give me a pop-up. This was back in December of last year, so only a couple months ago. As apparently they're working on it. So, but they're asking. Anne Rice is asking a lot of money, apparently.
Okay. My next question would be, I just heard that, Wonder Woman being delayed by 2 months. Thank you. I'm excited for that because I was born in 1984. So as soon as I told the I'm going to see that. I don't care who, Chris Pine's in it. And they got, there's going to be a villain of, what's that? What's her name? Cheetah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm really interested to see how Kristen Wiig, is going to be.
I was really intrigued how Wonder Woman did the first film, and then when Batman was Superman and Justice League, she did all right, and then I saw Aquaman. I love that film, so I know, and I heard from Nerd Report, Jason Balboa is going to be in Dune. Great, he's a great actor. There's talk about them maybe thinking of doing Aquaman 2 soon.
Yeah, well, that's 2022, I believe.
Okay.
Is when they said that one's going to be coming out. And I mean, that to me feels weird that they're putting it off as long as they are, because it was $1 billion movie. It's like, why wouldn't they immediately greenlight a sequel? But I also think they also probably don't want to run the risk of jumping the gun, Right. They probably want to have, like, I know there's this talk of like a soft reboot of the DCEU, but we did have Jim Lee recently say at C2E2 in Chicago, the DC extended universe. And no other executive at DC Comics or DC Films has ever once said that term out loud, publicly at least. And so I think that the DCEU maybe isn't as dead as we think it is, but I hope they find a way to keep it all together.
Okay, I have a question for you. Now, there's been some talks about this, but I didn't get your response. What do you think about the current things about the Batman? Like Robert Pattinson, they showed the suit. There's how the car looks a little bit, and the villains, the people playing the villains. What is your thoughts on that for the moment?
I mean, I'm down. Like I in Matt Reeves, I trust, and that is always the case. In Matt Reeves, I trust. Pattinson, I mean, I wanted Batfleck. I'll be open about that. I've been very honest about that for a long time.
Me too.
I wanted Batman. I wanted Affleck to get his own movie. And that's another reason why I support the Snyder Cut, by the way, is just because like I support that because I support Affleck as Batman. And, but I want to see, I mean, they chose Pattinson for a reason. I mean, remember when Val Kilmer was Batman? It was kind of an odd thing. No one really thought it would really work, but he did a good job. And
I was even worried about Ben Affleck playing Batman, but then I remember he can play a Bruce Wayne just fine, and he did both so well.
Yeah.
I just sat myself, I'm like, I'm into this.
Yeah.
And Superman, Henry Cavill, they did so well. We couldn't get Christopher Reeves and Michael Keaton together. They couldn't throw those two together for this in the 90s, and we got that in what, like 2000 after 2010, like I don't. 2015, 17.
I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love Ben Affleck as Batman. BVS, it came out 4 years ago today, by the way.
Yeah.
And I still, the extended cut, I still love the extended cut. And I feel like it got derailed by Warner Brothers. It got screwed over by the executives. The media was not kind to the movie, and fans were understandably disappointed. And I think Warner Brothers' own actions is what really hurt BVS, because I think if they would have released the Ultimate Edition in theaters, we would not be in this particular world right now, where DC is, at least.
This is probably a response to Joshua. I've been seeing your post, and I'm in agreement with you, but I want Henry Cavill to come back as Superman for his own #2 film, for like Man of Steel 2, and there's been no talks of that. They keep putting him with other people, and that's fine. I'm great they've been doing that. But I want to see a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I want a Man of Steel 2.
There's so much more that movie left off from, and no one's touching that.
Yeah, Man of Steel is one of my top films of 2013. I didn't think it would be, but it was.
Yeah, it was
really good.
It was amazing when I saw it.
Hey, Shidoko, thanks you very much for coming on in, man. Shidoko is one of the new members here on the channel. If you want to help support the channel, become a damn member. Link in the video description. Anyway.
I
had to show that.
Before you kick me out, thank you. I've been seeing your other videos. What you've been doing around your community. Thank you for talking to them and helping them out. I don't know if a lot of people say this, but thank you for what you're doing and talking about what's going on day to day. It's been helping me. I've been watching that.
With the virus stuff?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I pissed off a lot of people today, but I did that on purpose.
I know, but I listened in, and it keyed me in. I'm glad to hear that some people are out there helping others.
Yeah, I talked to people tonight. I did a delivery tonight, and like the woman, she was like, she opens the door and she's like, I have a migraine, I'm not sick, right? And I'm all like, I have sinuses. We're in this together. Like, people like at restaurants. I talked to other waiters tonight. They're scared. They're scared because they don't know people going to come in. They don't know what's going to happen. So in my county, there's 14 cases. It's up from 2 from last week, but that's still relatively low considering Seattle is not far away.
Right.
So there's that. I try to work with people. I try to call, I try to make jokes about it, and I try to like be funny, and I try to help them out.
I bring up Corona Light beer, and
that's why. That's
Madola Light. Oh damn it! I don't even Corona Light. I don't even Corona Light beer.
Well, I mean, like for example, Animal Crossing. My town in Animal Crossing, my island is called Corona.
About that too.
Yeah, my island is called Corona, and then I went on to the
Animal Crossing after the way you've been talking.
I think you would like it. I'm being honest.
I think I would like it. I just gotta get a Switch.
Yeah, you should, if you got like a 3DS or something, they've got it on there too. Not for New Horizons, but an older game. It gets you into it a little bit. But I'm gonna let you go, man. I do got some people that are in the back. Thank you for Jedi for coming on.
So
all right, we'll talk again soon.
If you want to throw me a wrench, go ahead.
Yeah, let me I do need some mods occasionally. So I will do that I'll do that here in a second.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. Have yourself a good night, man.
You too.
All right. Oh, hold on. Sorry, Ryan, I saw you, but Brian was here first. I hit the wrong button.
Matt, how you been?
Hey, what's going on, dude? I'm doing all right. I'm just chilling. Got to get to bed here pretty soon. Unfortunately, I got to be up early with the kids.
So I gotta throw you a quick curveball question. Have you been keeping up with this current season 5 of Better Call Saul or no?
No, I actually haven't seen past like episode 5 of the first season.
Okay. So the biggest discussion right now, I know this is going to be once you cut up, but there's discussion online that Better Call Saul is slightly a little more better than Breaking Bad. Now
that is a statement.
Yeah, the reason why I bring it up because I don't want to bring in like spoil this week episode because you're not, but it's just from how the background story, the origins leading up now, where Jim McGill's been turned to Saul Goodman. It is quintessentially, I thinking that not every single, but some selected episodes, in my honest opinion, are slightly a little bit better than Breaking Bad, a little bit because think about it, Vince Gilligan, you give him a script, you lock him in a room, and he comes out and writes us like a masterpiece. It's just how good he is.
Oh yeah, no, El Camino was amazing.
Yeah,
I loved El Camino. I was so happy with that when I watched, I was all like, "Yes, this is what I know we didn't need, but I still want it."
Now they confirmed that next year is gonna be the final season. Now, do you think this is where they got to bring Jesse, bring back Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston back?
I think if they got Bryan Cranston back for that one shot in El Camino, they could probably get him to come back at some point and be Walter White again. And I think personally, if they were able to like bring in, because at the time when Saul meets, him, he's kind of like full on Heisenberg around that time.
Yeah.
And then go back into that, because I'll tell you this. Did you ever, on the final season of the show, I think it was Comic-Con 2013, did you ever hear about Bryan Cranston walking around in a Walter White mask?
Yeah, he surprised everyone.
I saw him on the floor.
Oh my God, that's badass.
I did not know that it was him. I'm walking on the floor. I was only Comic-Con one day that year. And I'm walking around and I saw the mask, and the mask looked like super good. And I'm like, that's interesting. And then I'm like, oh, that's a good Walter White.
Right.
But it's such a weird, like, demure Walter White. Like, he's in like the plaid, and it's like, this is kind of weird. And then he turns around and he looks at me. Right. And Cranston was in character.
Yeah.
In his eyes. I could see his eyes, but I couldn't see that it was him, but I could see his eyes. And he was doing the Heisenberg stare. And he stared at me. And it literally, in my mind, it felt like the entire room just went dead silent. I mean, this is a huge convention floor.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that it was him, but it freaked me out. It freaked me out. And then I found out that it was him, and I was like, oh.
Now, do you think that Gina Carano would actually have some more conflicting schedule of shooting for next year if he comes back as playing as Gus Fring for one more time? Because I know he's doing Mando, and then who knows if season 3 is going to be coming out for Mando for next year. So,
well, if he's the bad guy in Mando season 2, the likelihood of him surviving is probably, it depends on what they want to build it up to, right?
Yeah.
But the way they also shoot Mandalorian is really, really, really different than how they shoot. I mean, you've seen the stagecraft behind the scenes footage, right? And that's my most favorite thing in Hollywood right now. I think it's wonderful how they do that. And they're able to do it. It's super quick, it's super easy. Right? It is. So they're able to just kind of already have everything done, and they're able to get it through, and it's contained. It's on a set. So they're not like having to shoot in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna have the time to be able to like go in between when he's needed.
Yeah. Because the character I don't like Howard. Howard is a complete asshole because the way he fucked over Jimmy. It's like, oh my God, I just don't like him at all.
Which one is Howard? Is that his?
No, Howard is where he built his brother build that law firm called Howard and McGill.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, Michael McKean, right?
Yeah, no, that's Michael McKean with Patrick Fabian.
Oh, okay. Again, it's been so long since I've seen it, so it's I have to. I know it's all on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes, on Netflix, and also you can watch on EMC's website. It's on video demand.
Okay. I'll need to
So
sit down and start watching those.
So you need but like I said, for next year, it's gonna be the final season. This is season 5, but like I said, once you dive into season 5, you could probably understand where my angle's coming from because what Peter. Because it's funny because Nacho right now he's in a very tough situation right now because Michael Mando, especially what he did with back when the Marvel Cinematic Universe, now with also him as Nacho Varga. Oh shit, it's going down big time, my friend. So.
Yeah, I really want to see. I'm glad Michael Mondo's finally getting some play as an actor. He was, he's as far as gamers are concerned, Voss is still the coolest villain to ever come out of Far Cry. So and then he went over to go do Black Mirror, a few episodes of not Black Mirror. Oh God, Orphan Black.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He was fun in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see him on this, and then of course I want to see him, Scorpion and Sinister Six. That's where I'm at.
Now, isn't Sinister Six still happening, or did that get like canceled or postponed?
Well, Sony, we're gonna find out more. I think Morbius is gonna set up Sinister Six, and then that's also gonna tie into Venom, which there's been a couple. There's been some speculation. I've been following it a little bit. I want to I want to move away from doing like the general movie coverage, and like maybe do more deeper dives, and that has more to do with just like right now there's nothing, and even even all the leaks and all the scoops have stopped. Like all the info, all the behind the scenes info is dead.
Because, like I said, Michael Mando's definitely, with now me being a big Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fan, now he's got my respect now ever since he popped up in Marvel. So I'm like, I kind of wonder to see where his career is going to be heading with the whole company.
I think I think he's got that charisma. He seemed to work well with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes is fantastic. I loved him as Vulture.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited to see what they come up with next. I'm as weird as this is. I mean, like I meant to actually talk about like Marvel this whole stream, but like we've kind of been everywhere. I look at like what Sony is doing, and I criticize Sony a lot, but like I'm actually genuinely excited for what Sony is up to. Because with Marvel, I know what we're gonna get. Like I know what Feige's gonna give us, and I love Feige to death. And so I'm really kind of curious to see like what Sony's going to do that's going to be a little bit edgier and a little bit different, and it's going to run parallel. And I want to see if they're going to be able to find a way to make it work. And so I'm more optimistic in that front. Like I'm more excited for Morbius and Venom 2 than I am for, let's say, Shang-Chi. I don't care. Or Eternals. I don't care. I'll see them, but I'm not like right now, nothing has got me going, blowing my skirt up. You know what I mean?
I think Sony right now, they're more like executing a little more better at television than with some hit or miss movies, in my opinion.
No, they do great television.
Yeah,
they do great television. I mean, they're Breaking Bad, so they're also The Boys.
Yeah,
and they do, and like the Goldbergs on ABC is a good one. They do that one too. They do a lot of good. Sony Pictures, Sony Television. I speak very highly of.
Yeah,
Sony Pictures under Tom Rothman. And under Pascal and everything else, they've suffered. They need to have someone come in and like really lead the studio. But I do feel they're just going to throw all their eggs behind Spider-Man, and that could actually be what saves them for right now. But anyway, I still have another person waiting in the back room, and I do need to wrap this up here in a minute.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you go. But thanks for Brian here sends me like tweets, like DMs like 20 times a day on Twitter
because I'm always informative.
Yeah, he's just sending me stuff like what's going on. He keeps me informed, so I can keep you informed. So he's a good person.
Especially all the funny internet memes I send you.
You find a lot of those memes.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting there. I'm like, Brian text. Okay, all right. I'm like, I got a DM. Ooh, who wants to? Oh, it's Brian. Okay, this is funny. All right, and then I go back to what I'm doing.
Matt, drink a Corona for goodness sakes, and just like start pissing.
If I had a Corona, I might go buy one tomorrow because it's my birthday. I'll go to the store tomorrow night.
Get a Corona and get a Heineken for James Bond being delayed.
No, I don't like Heineken, so I'll just get like another Corona. How about that?
Okay, that's fine.
I might do that tomorrow night. I'll do a live stream tomorrow night, and we'll bring people on, and I'll just get progressively drunker. Okay, although I'm on antidepressants, so that's going to be fucking wild.
Then I'll bring the Heineken for sure. You can have the Corona.
Sure, I'll sit here. I'll just get drunk. Why not? Screw it. You guys will get my true opinions. I give you my true opinions anyway.
They would just go straight up like Stephen Colbert commentaries.
Yeah. Jeez, I got to check those out too. So, but all right, man. Thank you very much. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Birthday, man.
Thank you very much. All right, and finally we got Ryan here. Sorry, I clicked on you before I realized that I had done that. So.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try to make this quick. So,
all right.
Happy birthday in about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. My girlfriend's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" I'm all like, "Nothing." She's like, "No, what do you want?" I'm all like, "Well, I just got Animal Crossing." And I felt it'd be kind of weird if I was like, "Can you get me Doom Eternal? Because I just want to like slay zombies and like demons and shit." And then she's like, "Well, what about like I like to do float therapy. Have you ever heard of that?"
Float therapy?
Yeah,
I don't.
Float therapy. So you ever heard of, like sensory deprivation chambers?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's a sensory deprivation chamber. There's one. You're in Washington. I don't know. Are you by Seattle?
I'm sort of near North Bend and Issaquah, so
I don't. Is that east? That's east, right?
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes east of Seattle. So
okay, so if you head over to Kirkland, there's a place there called Urban Float, right? And like that's my first experience doing this sensory deprivation stuff. But what it is the way. Okay, so the way my mind operates is my mind never stops going crazy. It's always wired, and it's one of the reasons why I just love like drinking caffeine, because it allows me to like really just kind of like fire on all synapses, and that's how I like to work. And so, but the thing is like it will burn me out pretty fast sometimes. So I like to go and I like to do float therapy. So float therapy essentially is just sensory deprivation. You get into a tank. In the case of where I go now, it's like a jacuzzi that's walled off. It's kind of funny, but they put in 1,000 gallons of water, and also, I think it's like 1,200 gallons of water and 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt.
Huh.
And so what it does is it creates the salinity. Basically, you float. You just float, right? And so the one I go to is a 90-minute session, and I have them turn on a rainstorm. And I just, I get in there, right? And I'm just like, I'm as nude as the day I was born. And I just like lay down in this jacuzzi and I float for 90 minutes. Now, what that does is it allows me to just relax for one. It cuts off no internet, no TV. I listen to, a rainstorm because I can focus my mind a little bit. And I think for 90 minutes, I just get to think. And the first 20 are a little bit odd because you're just adjusting to it, right? Like you feel your body start to ache a little bit because like it's literally loosening all your muscles because you're just floating there on like all this salt water. But then after a while, you kind of start opening up your mind and you start thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking in any direction you want to go. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing distracting you. For a full solid 90 minutes, you just get to sit there in the darkness and just let your mind go or fall asleep or whatever it is you want to do. I like to let my mind go, and then I think of things I want to accomplish, and I start to kind of plan things and figure them out, and it allows my brain to kind of just work unfiltered, undistracted. Wow. And I haven't done it in a while because it's kind of expensive. It's like $75 for one of them, per session. And they have like so I kind of like, it's a treat every once in a while. But because of the shutdown, they're hurting for cash, and they're like, "Hey, it's a buy one, get one right now." And my girlfriend, I think, is going to get me one tomorrow. So I can go and get a couple of them, which is good because I work like 7 days a week. I do either the deliveries or I do YouTube. I don't really slow down. And that's kind of, that makes me really fucking tired sometimes. So that's why I recommend doing it. That's, I like it because for me, it works. It may not work for everybody. If you're claustrophobic, it may kind of messes you a little bit. You got to get used to it, but it's one of the better therapy sessions I've ever had on anything. And so I recommend it.
Okay. So it's called float therapy.
Yeah. Float therapy.
Okay. No.
So I love this here. Tony says, if you're on antidepressants, avoid the booze. Well, yeah, I talked to my doctor about that. I did actually last time I saw her. I'm like, can I drink? And she's like, yes, but moderate yourself. And I'm like, well, can I get high? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm all like, there we go.
There we go.
So anyway, sorry we got off topic talking about float therapy, my pitch session for that. What were we talking about again?
I guess I wanted to bring back the topic of Marvel films.
Okay. Always a good topic. Always a good topic.
Yeah. I guess Sorry, just my computer's a little echoey here.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I think, starting with 2008's Iron Man film, and then working all the way up to today. I guess with the other franchises that came before it, not excluding the Harry Potter franchise and God forbid the Twilight franchise. I guess comparing with the previous franchises and the Marvel franchise, I just talk about how each individual film leads up to another, but can also work as their own thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. There's I mean, that's how you want to do it, right? You want to have you want to have them be seen as standalone, but also tied into a greater narrative. And the reason why that works as well as it does for, let's say, the MCU is because Kevin Feige kind of treats it like a TV series, right? Or a serial. Mm-hmm. And so while he's got so many different toys in this toy box, each one kind of does its own thing, but they still find a way to kind of weave the narrative together. Where you have like the beginning and the ends are pretty much like already pre-established, which we know what like leads into the next one. But the directors and the writers and the actors and the talent, they get to kind of play there in their own way. And they still adhere to the rules of the universe, but they're able to then kind of still experiment and have a bit of fun. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get franchises that and not a lot of movies are generally made kind of standalone. But I would say some TV shows, they've been doing more now of like the long form series, right? Where if you skip, it's like 24, for example, right. If you missed an episode of 24, you were kind of screwed. It just threw you off. It just, because back when 24 came out, it was like 2001. So, DVRs wasn't a thing. If you were recording it and you missed an episode, you better hope somebody else who recorded it.
Right.
And that, because it was all part of one big story and you couldn't watch the episodes individually because you would just be lost, and so, but that's why I think having a good producer can weave it to where you have your individual stories, but your grander narrative.
Mm. Yeah. And, I guess with the overall reaction to the Marvel films compared to the other franchises, like if I were to choose between the Marvel franchise and say like the Transformers or the Twilight franchise, I think I'll go with the Marvel franchise hands down. Because sorry.
No, I agree. Twilight was god awful. Transformers started off fun, right? Mm-hmm. The first one was a lot of fun, and then it just went to hell.
Yeah.
I never saw the last Transformers movie. I never saw it. I had no interest after Age of Extinction. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, those movies are made for idiots like me. They really are. But Michael Bay gave such little of a crap that it was just pointless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and saying what you want about how the Marvel films are received, at least they have great actors, well thought out writing, and of course going back to how things are tied together, they're expertly woven.
Yeah. Well, Feige is good at crafting those tales and always kind of upping the ante to an extent and then giving us the tease. If you really think about it, what are people conditioned for with Marvel movies overall? The tease, right? Mm-hmm. What you're going to expect with the movie. The movies are very homogenized, and that's on purpose. And then, you go in there and you're like, oh, but what's going to be the tease? What are they going to tie it into? How are things going to change? And that's what they look for. Like, what are going to be the big Easter eggs for the next movie or the next event, right? And that is something that's been brilliantly crafted. That it's now completely, the audience are conditioned for that. Like you go and you watch a movie and people get up and they leave after the movie, more often than not. And when it comes to a Marvel movie, you go now and people sit there and they wait all the way through the end credits, hoping to get that next Easter egg. So that's what people like about it.
Yeah, and I guess the only concern I have with having a bunch of movies with seemingly different storylines and then having to connect to one big universe, I guess, with someone who doesn't necessarily see the other Avengers movies or the other Marvel films, and like they've only seen like the Guardians of the Galaxy's volumes 1 and 2, and then after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out, and then comes out, they think, what just happened? When did this happen? Where are the other characters? Well,
I mean, that is a problem, but also at this point in time, they've done well enough to be able to develop the audience that will either show up for the films they want to show up for, and they'll find out the story, Like if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, the 1 and 2 of that, they, for the most part, they're kind of standalone.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, you get introduced to the Power Stone and Thanos and Guardians, and like, okay, cool. And then Thanos wasn't even really, he was mentioned in Guardians 2, but other than that, at the end of Guardians 2, I mean, they just kind of went back on their way because it was only it was still back in 2014, not up to 2017 like the rest of us were. So they got to do their own thing. And it was, so people could watch that. I would say probably the Guardians movies are the two you could watch without needing to see anything else. They are the two most standalone movies. That may be in like the Incredible Hulk, which I still think is underrated. That's why I said there are no bad MCU movies. Some are definitely worse than others. But ultimately we keep going back to them because they are predominantly good. People will still rewatch the ones that they claim to not like. So that tells you something about the nature of the storytelling.
Yeah.
And the way it makes you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine if Edward Norton was still the Incredible Hulk instead of Mark Ruffalo? Man, fucking Edward Norton, man. He should have just pulls that out of his ass. It's all you got to do. It's just like, nobody, and the thing is, nobody wants to work with Edward Norton. And so he screwed, like, imagine how many millions of dollars he lost out on. Cause he's like, him, same with Terrence Howard. Yeah. Right. When I remember when they introduced Terrence Howard as War Machine, I was at Comic-Con in 2007, in Hall H when they did the panel for it. And because Jon Favreau's like, and the man who will be War Machine, Terrence Howard as Rhodey, and everyone's like, yeah, and then they did the movie and they did that whole like next time like line, which is great. And then after that, he took off, he took off, and you're like, because he got the demands. He was the highest paid actor on Iron Man. And then he had all those demands and they recast him with Don Cheadle and everyone got real mad when that happened. I'm all like, nah, fuck that, dude. I love Don Cheadle. Yeah, Don Cheadle's great actor. He's great as Rhodey. Like him and Downey Jr. got that. Like but again, you can look at Iron Man 3 and people like to bitch about Iron Man 3, but the way I view it's like this. Iron Man 3 gave us a buddy cop movie with Tony and Rhodey. Right? It gave us a buddy cop feel because that was Shane Black. Shane Black, who wrote Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, and The Last Boy Scout. So the guy who was like really big for doing buddy cop action films in the 80s and 90s gave us a buddy cop action movie with Tony Stark and James Rhodes with Iron Man and War Machine. And it was great. And even though they were out of the suit, they were still doing things that, like, in and out of the suit in that last act, that last fight scene against the Mandalorian, whatever. Not the Mandalorian, the Mandarin. Yeah, and so I mean, you can always find something good about these movies. You can even find some good stuff about Captain Marvel. It is difficult to do. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
man, I'm going to let you go because I have got to get to bed.
Okay.
But I appreciate you calling in, Ryan, as always. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we'll talk again soon. So have yourself a great, great night.
You too.
Thank you. All right, everyone. It's been a fun hour and a half. Did not expect it to go on this long, but we always have a lot of fun talking here on the channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to leave a like, that'd be fantastic. If you guys haven't subscribed and you're new, be sure to do that. I'll be back on tomorrow night. I don't know if I'm going to get hammered. We'll see how things go. It might happen, but I'll do a live stream. I'll bring on some friends. We'll talk, we'll geek out, and we'll celebrate the beginning of my 38th year and potentially last year, because I might die from coronavirus, as might we all. And that's a good way to look at anything right now. Optimism through bitter, nihilistic cynicism. Anyway, I love you guys very much. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here, for engaging, for talking, for being you. You rock. You're awesome. You guys keep movie people happy. You guys are the ones who keep me coming back every day. Have yourself a great one, folks. Thank you again. Love you lots, and peace out.